What's up guys, my name is Crescent, and in this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to ship your products to Amazon. Make sure to watch all the way through because I'm going to cover the top 6 mistakes that new Amazon sellers make that will cause delays with your shipment or end up costing you thousands of dollars to fix. But by watching this tutorial to the end, you'll learn how to avoid them. Alright, so the first step you need to do is to have an Amazon seller account. You can sign up by going to sell.amazon.com and register for a new seller account. Once your account has been approved, you'll need to log into Seller Central and navigate to the Manage Inventory page. If you've already created a listing for your product, you'll see the product listing here. Otherwise, you'll have to create a new product listing first. You can do that by clicking on Menu, Catalog, Add Products. If you need help with these two steps, I have a video that goes over how you can sign up for a new seller account on Amazon, as well as a video that goes over how to create a new product listing here. And I'll leave links to both videos down in the description below. Alright, so in order to send your products to Amazon, you need to create what's called a shipping plan. So on the Manage Inventory page, you can see that I'm out of stock on this item here. To start a new shipping plan, click on the drop-down menu and click on Send Replenish Inventory. Now, if you don't see the Send Replenish option, then when you created the product listing, you didn't choose that you're going to do FBA, or Fulfillment by Amazon. You can tell that the listing is set to FBM, which is Fulfillment by Merchant, because you'll see the option Change to Fulfill by Amazon, like you can see in this other listing I have here. If that's the case, then choose the option Change to Fulfillment by Amazon, and under the barcode type, I suggest always choosing Amazon barcode, which is the FNSKU barcode. I'll go over more about what this is later on. Now click Convert. You may have to wait 15 minutes though for this change to take effect. Then when you click on the drop-down menu, you'll see the option Send Replenish Inventory. Now you can see we're on the first of 3 steps. And in this first step, we need to choose the products we plan to send to Amazon. You can see that it shows the SKU that we chose on the previous page here, and that we're on the pre-selected tab here. Now, if you have more than one product that you want to ship to Amazon, you can click the All FBA SKUs tab here and select the products that you want to send. But in this case, we're just going to send one SKU. Now, if this is the first time you've ever created a shipping plan for this product listing, then you're going to have to enter the origin address or the ship from address. The origin is usually going to be your supplier's address or wherever you're shipping your products from. It actually doesn't really matter what you put here. You can put your own address if you want. But a pro tip here is, if you're shipping your products from China to the US, you can actually save a ton of money by using a California-based address here. Doing this is actually against Amazon's guidelines, so do this at your own risk, but I haven't had or seen anyone run into any problems. By using a California address, Amazon will tend to have you ship your products to an Amazon warehouse that's located close to the port in California, instead of having you ship your products to somewhere in the middle of the country where you'd have to pay the extra shipping costs. So find a California address that you can use, and if you're using a freight forwarder, see if they have a warehouse near the port that you can use. You can enter or change the address by clicking on the Ship from Another Address link here. Now, if you have a US Amazon seller account and you're shipping to the US marketplace, then United States should be pre-selected already here. Otherwise, you can choose a different marketplace here. Okay, now in the packing details, you can see that it says individually packed. That's because I've already shipped this product to Amazon in the past, and I've already created a packing template for this product. However, if it's your first time, then you'll have to create a new packing template here. Now here's where a lot of beginner sellers make a huge mistake, and that's not choosing the correct template type. You can choose individual units or case packed. Now in a nutshell, I suggest always choosing individual units, and here's why. And this is something that beginners get confused with, so in order to explain this, first, let's discuss what a unit is. A unit is what the buyer gets when they make one purchase from you. For example, let's say you're selling a toothbrush. The toothbrush is considered one unit. Now let's say you're selling a pack of toothbrushes. Now it doesn't matter how many are in the pack, it's still considered one unit. It doesn't matter if you're selling a toothbrush bundled with toothpaste. It's also still considered one unit. Basically, one unit is whatever the buyer gets when they buy one item from you. With me so far? Okay, so why would you choose individual versus case packed? Well, let's go over what case packed means since it's the most restrictive. Let's take a look at what it says here, then I'll explain what it actually means. Select case packed products if your shipment boxes consist of cases that contain identical items with matching SKUs in the same condition. You can then be able to enter the number of cases and units per case for each SKU in the shipment. And it goes on to specify that case-packed products must meet the following requirements. All products in a box must have a matching SKU and condition. All boxes with the same product must contain equal quantities of the product in each box. For example, a case pack of 24 units must always contain 24 units. The case pack limit is 150 units per case. Okay, so what does that mean? It means you should smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It really does help me out by letting YouTube know that you found value in this video, so it'll show it to more people just like you, and I would really appreciate it. So thank you. Now, with that said, if you choose case packed, then each shipment box, which is also called a shipping carton, must contain exactly the same product inside, and each shipping carton must have the exact same number of units inside. So for example, if you're shipping 1,000 units of your toothbrush in 10 shipping cartons, then each shipping carton can only have the exact same toothbrush units inside, and every shipping carton must have exactly 100 units inside. That means inside each shipping carton, everything must be exactly the same. You can't mix the single toothbrush unit with the 4-pack or the bundle inside the cartons. Basically, all 10 shipping cartons must be indistinguishable from each other. Does that make sense? Now take note that I specifically chose 10 cartons for this example. That's because when you choose case packed, you can't ship an oddly packaged carton. For example, if you're shipping 1,000 units, but you package them in cartons of 150 units, the maximum units you can have per carton, well, if you do the math, you'll have 6 cartons of 150 units and 1 extra carton that has only 100 units in it. If you choose case packed, then you won't be able to include the extra odd size carton in the shipping plan. So effectively, you'd only be able to ship 900 units in. Make sense? Okay, so what's individually packed mean then? You can see that it says here, select individual products if your shipment boxes consist of individual items with different SKUs or in different conditions. Individual products can contain different quantities of the same SKU in each case, and can contain more than 150 units in any case. What that means is you can put whatever you want inside each carton, any products and any amount. So as you can see, if you have an odd size carton, by choosing individually packed, you can ship all 1,000 units even though 6 of the 7 shipping cartons are case packed. That's why I always suggest choosing individually packed, regardless if your cartons are in fact case packed, so that you don't run into this issue while you're creating a shipping plan. Okay, so if you run into an issue where you can't enter an odd carton in the shipping plan, this is why. Just delete the shipping plan and start over and choose individually packed. Like I said, just always choose individually packed to avoid this problem altogether, even if your products are case packed. So again, if this is your first time, select individual, and you'll have to fill in some information here. Give the template a name. In my case, I just called it individual units, so I know what this is. Under Who Preps, you'll have to choose who's gonna put the barcode label on your products. This is the UPC or FNSKU barcode. Now, in order to sell your products on Amazon, you're always gonna need to have a UPC barcode. However, and this is another mistake a lot of beginners make, I suggest always putting the FNSKU barcode on your product, not the UPC. And this is a very important step. If you want to learn more about barcodes, where to get them, and why you should always use the FNSKU, I'll post a link to a video down in the description below. Now, in most cases, your manufacturer is going to put the barcode on the product for you since it's the cheapest and easiest way to do it. So select Buy Seller. You can have Amazon do it for you, but Amazon's going to charge you a 55-cent per unit fee. And one way to save money is to actually have the barcode printed directly onto the product packaging instead of having to use a sticker. Okay, now under the prep category, you're gonna have to let Amazon know if they need to do anything to your product when they receive it. You can choose the type of prep from the drop-down menu here. If no prep is needed, then select it here. Then click Save. And if you're gonna create a case-packed template, then select Create a New Packing Template. Again, give it a name. Then fill in the carton details here. You can usually get this information from your manufacturer. So find out how many units are inside each carton and what the physical size and weight of each carton is and enter it here. Then choose the prep category and Who Labels. Okay, so moving on. Again, if this is the first time you're creating a shipping plan for this product, you're gonna notice that you can't click on the Confirm and Continue button. It's grayed out and the boxes and units field are inaccessible. That's because you need to complete the details in the information action section here first. You can see that in this example, there's a warning message here. So click on it, And in this case, we need to choose the prep category. Then click Save. All right, now you can see that the boxes and units fields are accessible for you to fill in. Okay, so if we're going to do individually packed like I suggest, we're going to need some more information from your manufacturer in order to continue. Boxes is how many shipping cartons there are in total, and units is how many units are inside each shipping carton. So for example, if you're shipping 1,000 units and your supplier packaged them into 4 cartons with 250 units in each carton, then enter 1,000 in the units field and then click Ready to Pack. Then click on Pack Individual Units. Now, in our case, we're shipping them in multiple cartons, so choose multiple boxes will be needed. If everything is in one box, then of course choose everything will fit into one box. Click Confirm. Now leave this option as enter through a web form. This is so we can just enter all the details through the website instead of through a flat file, okay? Since we have 4 shipping cartons, enter 4 here. You can change this in the next step if you make a mistake or you need to make a change. Click on Open Web Form. Okay, now you can see that you can enter all the shipping carton information here for each carton. So remember, we have 4 cartons with 250 units in each carton for a total of 1,000 units. So enter that here. Box 1 has 250, box 2, 250, box 3, 250, and box 4, 250 units. You can see that as we entered that information, it updated the total unit count here. So make sure everything adds up and looks right. In our case, all the cartons are exactly the same. So the size and weight of each shipping carton is exactly the same. So you'd enter that info here. Let's say each carton weighs 20 pounds. And all the cartons are 25 by 25 by 20 inches. And take note that these are in pounds and inches. So make sure you convert them if your measurements are metric. Now, since this box dimension applies to all the cartons, check mark all 4 boxes. Once we do that, you can see that the Confirm Packing Info button is now clickable. But before we do that, I want to show you the problem if we were to choose case packed instead of individual, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Let's say, for example, your supplier can't package all 1,000 units into 4 cartons of 250 units. Let's say they put 300 units in 3 cartons and 100 units in the 4th carton for whatever reason, like we discussed earlier. It happens. So let's enter that here. So now I'm making up these numbers as we go. Let's say the cartons with 300 units weighs 25 pounds and the last carton weighs 10 pounds. Okay, so everything looks good so far. As you can see, there's no errors or anything. But here's the difference. The last carton here is a different size. It's a much smaller carton, so we need to uncheck the last carton here and choose Add Another Box Dimension. Now we can enter the size of the smaller carton. Let's say it's 15 by 15 by 12 and check mark it here. Now the new shipping carton details are entered correctly for this odd shipment. With me so far? If you had chosen case packed, you wouldn't be able to enter the details for the 4th box. There wouldn't be an Add Another Box Dimension option because, like I said earlier, case packed means all the shipping cartons must be exactly the same. Okay, so again, if you run into a situation where you can't enter details for an odd carton, it's because you chose case packed and not individually packed. And if you're following me, this is why I suggest always just choosing individually packed, even if your cartons are all case packed, because you can still enter the box details like I showed you. You just won't have the odd size carton to enter. Make sense? Now, improperly packaging and labeling your products is a huge mistake I see beginners make, which ends up costing a ton of money to fix and creating huge delays in launching your product. So make sure you watch this video here that goes over how to properly package and label your products. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. All right, now click on the Confirm Packing Info button. If you get some warnings like you see here, it's warning you that based on the information you entered, it doesn't match what Amazon thinks the shipping carton size and weight should be for the number of units that you said you're shipping in. It calculates this based on the size and weight and volume of what a single unit is. So double check that the carton size and weight that you entered are in fact correct. I made up all of the numbers that were used in this example, so that's why we're seeing these warnings. So click on Dismiss Warnings and confirm. All right. Now you can see that we're on step 2. The first thing you'll need to do here is set the ship date. Now it doesn't have to be exact. You can see here that it says enter an estimated date. Just choose a date. It doesn't matter how accurate it is. Okay, shipping mode. Basically, If you're just starting out on Amazon, you're always going to choose SBD, which is small parcel delivery. These are loose cartons that are not on a pallet. LTL is less than a truckload. This is when you're shipping in much larger quantities where the cartons are palletized. There's also FTL, which is a full truckload option. That's when the entire shipment on a truck is yours, but that's not for most of us until you've built your business to a much larger scale. If you're shipping in more than just a few hundred units though, you can save a lot of money by palletizing your shipment and using LTL. Now you can see here that it says ship to multiple destinations. This means that Amazon may want you to ship your products to more than one Amazon warehouse, and that's to streamline the fulfillment process when you sell your products. I'll go over this in more detail in step number 3, but if you don't want to have to ship your products to multiple warehouses because it could be too expensive, there's actually a setting that you can change on your account. If you go to Settings, Fulfillment by Amazon, in the Inbound Settings section, click on Edit, then change the Inventory Placement option to Inventory Placement Service. By changing this option, Amazon will always ship everything to one warehouse. However, Amazon will charge you a minimum of a 30-cent per unit fee depending on the size and weight of your product. So make sure you do the math to see if it's worthwhile and smash the like button. Okay, so now in the next section, you need to choose a shipping carrier. You can see by default the UPS Amazon partnered carrier option is selected. In most cases, if you're shipping from outside the US, like from China, directly to an Amazon warehouse in the US, then you're always going to choose the non-partnered carrier option and pick a carrier from the drop-down menu here. It doesn't really matter which carrier you choose, it's mostly for your own reference. And if you don't see your carrier or you don't know which carrier you're using, just choose other. However, if you are shipping within the US, then you can save a lot of money by choosing the Amazon Partnered Carrier Program option. That means your shipment is being picked up in the US and then being shipped to an Amazon warehouse inside the US. This is where you can take advantage of Amazon's shipping discount, which sometimes can be more than 50 to 75% in savings than if you arrange the shipment yourself through the same carriers like FedEx and UPS. If you choose the Amazon Partnered Carrier Program, it'll calculate how much the shipping costs are, and you'll be charged right away when you complete the shipping plan. You can actually see that to ship what we have here, it only costs us $46. If you were to arrange the shipment yourself on UPS's website, it would easily cost over $100. But take note though, you do get charged right away as soon as you complete the shipping plan. And if you decide to change your mind, you only have 24 hours to cancel the shipment to get a full refund. So in this case, since we're choosing non-Amazon partnered carrier, you can see that the fees are $0. And if everything looks correct, click on Accept Charges and Confirm Shipping. Okay, the last step, step number 3, print box labels. You can see here the summary of the shipment and the warehouses Amazon wants you to send the shipments to. Here's where we can print or download the shipping labels that need to go on each shipping carton. Usually, the default option here is fine, but if you want to change it, you can. Click on Print. You'll notice that in this case, there's one label for each carton that we're shipping. And since we have 4 cartons, there's 4 labels. You need to make sure that the correct label goes on the corresponding carton, especially if you need to ship the cartons to different Amazon warehouses. So a pro tip here, it can get quite confusing trying to figure out which label goes on which carton if they're being sent to different warehouses. So what I do is this, mark each carton with a number like 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, and so on. Then on step number 1, enter the details for each shipping carton in order. The first carton details you enter as box number 1, and that'll go with the first shipping label. The second carton details you enter as box number 2, and that goes with the second shipping label, and so on. Of course, if your products are case packed, then it doesn't matter which label goes on which carton since they're all the same. Okay, now if you're not doing the shipping yourself, then instead of printing the labels, you want to download and save them as a PDF and then email them to your supplier or freight forwarder or whoever is doing the shipping so that they can print them out and put them on the shipping cartons. And using a reputable freight forwarder will make the whole shipping process a lot easier for you, and they can actually do the shipping plan process for you. And I go over how you can actually do that, as well as how you can get in contact with my personal freight forwarder and my Amazon FBA program, Amazon Beginner Mastery. And I'll leave a link to that in the video description below. And one thing to note, which is a mistake I see many beginners make, the shipping labels here are for Amazon's internal use only. It's specifically for Amazon to identify the shipment when it arrives at the Amazon warehouse. The shipping labels have nothing to do with the actual physical shipping of your products. If you didn't use the Amazon Partner Carrier Program, then you or your freight forwarder still need to arrange the actual shipping through a shipping carrier like FedEx, UPS, or DHL. Once that's done, you'll get a second set of shipping labels from the shipping carrier, which looks something like this. And these labels will also need to go on each shipping carton. Make sense? Now, if your supplier or freight forwarder is handling the shipment for you, then there's nothing left for you to do to prepare the shipment. However, if you're shipping the products yourself, you can then drop the shipment off at UPS or FedEx or whoever the carrier is. If you have a big shipment, you can actually arrange to have UPS or FedEx come to your house and pick up the shipment from you, which can be beneficial. And that's it. Once you have the tracking details, you can enter them into the shipping plan. If you have them now, you can click on Proceed to enter tracking details. If you don't have them right now, you can enter them later on. Just click on Shipments at the top of the page. Click on the Track Shipment tab and enter the tracking numbers here. Now back on the Shipment Events tab, you can see the entire status of your shipment. You can see when the shipment was created, when it was actually shipped, when it was delivered and checked in, when it was received, and the final summary here. Now take note that once your shipment is delivered to the Amazon warehouse, it doesn't mean your inventory is ready to sell in the Amazon marketplace. Your shipment needs to be checked in and received first. What that means is Amazon needs to acknowledge that your shipment has arrived and scan all of your units to verify what you've actually sent in matches what you entered in the shipping plan. This process can take a few days to several weeks. So don't be surprised if your shipment is in the receiving status for weeks. I've seen it take as long as 4 to 6 weeks to complete. So if you're planning to sell your product in Q4 in time for the holiday season, or if you're trying to restock before you run out of stock, make sure you send in your shipment way ahead of time to allow for any long delays. Now, if you want to learn more about what all of these statuses mean, you can find a list of them here, and I'll leave a link to this page in the description below. For example, you can see that delivered means Amazon has received information from the carrier that your shipment is ready for delivery, or that it was delivered to the fulfillment center yard, but that the fulfillment center has not yet checked it in. And checked in means your shipment has moved from the facility yard to the dock door and is ready to be unloaded, but the inventory has not yet been through the receiving process. And take note, it says here, for small parcel shipments, it can take up to 2 days to move from checked in to the receiving status. And during peak times, it can take even longer. And the receiving status means Amazon has started scanning your shipment labels. Units are available for sale as soon as they are received. However, because units may be sent to other fulfillment centers closer to customers, it can take up to 18 days for received units to be available. And like I mentioned earlier, if you don't package and label your shipments correctly, which a lot of beginner sellers do, it can delay the receiving process, and you can also incur penalty fees. So make sure you watch the video I have that goes over how to properly do this. The link is below. And speaking of mistakes, one of the biggest mistakes I see beginners make is not sending in enough or sending in too much inventory. First, as a new seller, for the most part, you'll have a storage and restock limit of 1,000 units. That means at any given time, you can only keep 1,000 units at Amazon's warehouses. You can see that in my case, this test account has a storage limit of 1,000 units. And because I just created a shipping plan for 1,000 units, all of my storage is now used up in the standard size tier. If I were to try to create another shipping plan and send in more units, I'll get an error message like this. If you run into this problem where you haven't actually sent anything to Amazon yet, then your storage limit allocation is being used up by an existing shipping plan, like the situation that we are seeing now. So to fix this, you have to use the original shipping plan that you created earlier, or delete it to free up your storage space so that you can create a new shipping plan. If you do have inventory at Amazon already, then you can only ship in however many units that you have remaining in your storage limit allocation. If you want to learn more about storage limits and how to increase them, I have a video that goes into detail on this, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. Now, you also want to be aware that you don't ship in too much inventory. Amazon charges long-term storage fees for inventory that's been sitting around in their warehouse, so make sure you're tracking your sales versus your inventory levels so that you don't incur these added fees, which can add up to quite a lot very quickly. You also want to make sure that you're shipping in enough inventory so that you don't run out of stock. Running out of stock can hurt your listing performance and put you lower in the search results rankings. So again, track your sales and make sure you have enough inventory on hand to cover the time it would take to restock. And mistake number 6 is mixing up the unit size and weight with the shipping carton size and weight. I see this happening all the time. When you create your very first shipping plan, you'll be asked to enter the dimensions and weight of your unit. Don't mix this up with the size and weight of your shipping carton. This will create huge problems for you. You'll get storage errors, and you'll notice that the FBA fees and shipping calculations are astronomically high, and that's because it thinks your product is the size and weight of your shipping carton. And to fix the problem is a complete hassle. I'll leave a link to a video that goes over how to deal with this if you happen to make this mistake. And if you want to start your own Amazon business, I have an entirely free step-by-step course that you can get by clicking right over here. It's an entire playlist of videos on YouTube that'll teach you step by step pretty much everything that you need to know to start selling on Amazon from scratch. All you have to do is click right here to get this free Amazon FBA course. All right, thanks for watching.